Once every 8 years, you get to reset your money, love, friendship, peace, harmony, beauty, prosperity, and luxury. You get to reset this story in your life once every 8 years in the sign of Aries. And that once every 8 year reset button is coming up for us as Venus heads into the heart of the sun from a retrograde motion on March the 22nd, 2025. And this will describe not only the next 8 years of your life, but also particularly the 9 months that follow. She's pregnant with possibility as this goddess of all good things goes into the heart of the sun, receives divine mission instructions from headquarters, comes out the other side, and gives you a new mission and a new story of Venusian success. So let's learn about how this works for your sun sign, moon sign, and rising. I'd suggest you listen certainly today for your rising sign to see how this retrograde Venus heading into the sun's heart, called a Cazimi, is going to impact you over the next 9 months and over the next 8 years in terms of starting a new whole cycle for you. So welcome to my channel. My name is Lori Lothian, and if you're new here, I am so glad to see you. And if you're one of my regulars, of course, you're so welcome back. In today's video, we're going to have a couple screenshots so you can understand the larger story of how this cycle works in your life in the past, and so you can compare it to the present. I'm laughing because I retrograded out, man. Mercury retrograde as I record on Saturday the 15th, and I got 25 minutes into the video and my microphone was not connected. There was really like no volume. So I thought, what did I not say that I should have said? And I guess it was many things. Okay, so let's get started and talk about it. All right. First of all, Venus is not visible when she goes into the heart of the sun, and depends on your time zone. I'm at March 17th to the 28th in Vancouver, Canada, Pacific daily time zone now. We cannot really see Venus at all in the sky. She's now blurred out by the beams of the sun, so she's invisible in our sky. But she was visible in the evening because she was an evening star. And as she goes into the heart of the sun and dies in the heart of the sun and gets new mission instructions from headquarters on Saturday, March 22nd in Pacific daily time zone around 6 p.m. Then she's going to come out the other end of the sun, maybe 6 to 8 days later, 6 to 8 days later, depends on where you live in the world. Go to timeanddate.com to find that out. They have an astronomy section. And when she's visible again, she's now becoming visible as a morning star, which is her more aggressive style, more warrior style, more go-getter masculine energy, where she's the evening star before that, ever since she went into the heart of the sun in June 4th, she went into the heart of the sun from a superior direct motion conjunction. She was on the other side of the sun from Earth, and she was born again that way, in a different way than she is this time, not retrograde. And she set herself up from the Gemini conjunction at that time. And then for 9 months, she was in the sky, visible to our eyeballs, more or less, as a Venus in the evening, meaning we saw her after the sun set, where as a morning star, we see her just before the sun rises. Very different energies. Now, one thing I want to show you a bit of a chart that you can use to give yourself some sort of historical perspective. I'm all about teaching you to fish. I'm not going to give you a fish. I don't want to be your guru, and God forbid that would happen, because I'm definitely not even my own best guru. Well, here's a screenshotable. Screenshot it right now. Grab this baby while it's hot, because you can look at some like 65 to 2037 Venus conjunct the sun cycles. What I want to share with you is a couple of things. In 1929, Venus co-joined the sun for the very first time in hundreds of years in the sign of Aries. And she will complete that conjunction set in 2037. And then as she moves into, I think, 2039, then she's going, 2037, 2000, whatever. The next cycle she'll be in Libra. She'll be conjuncting in Libra. Now, she did co-join the sun in Libra. In Pisces. Oh my God, my brain. In Pisces. She will co-join the sun in Pisces after 2039 and end the Aries cycle. Venus going through the sign of war, Venus going through the sign of the bros, and co-joining the sun. We end that when we get to 2039 onwards, and now she'll be co-joining, or 2040 something onwards, and she'll be co-joining the sun for 100 years in Pisces. It can only be a good thing, because Pisces is a sign of her exaltation, ruled by Jupiter. Just like her co-joining the sun in the sign of Scorpio will come to its end in Libra, totally ending in 2030. 2030. Okay, so look at this chart. look at this chart and look at the retrograde cycle. I will annotate this just to make it a little easier. All right. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to grab a screenshot of that so you can see it more easily. Now, I was at astro-seek.com. If you're looking for where in the world this information comes from, use the aspect search engine. And what I put into it was Venus 0 degrees or Sun 0 degrees Venus, meaning Sun Venus conjunction in the aspect search engine. And I set the parameters for Aries. And this is what you get. And I didn't delineate retrograde or non-retrograde, which I could have, because I want to show you the broader cycle. You'll notice, for example, I'll start somewhere up here. 1977, but you can see it goes backwards. So 1977 in April, Venus and Sun co-join in a retrograde cycle at 16 degrees of Aries. And then this retrograde cycle then lasts 8 years. And by the time we get to April 3rd of 1985, we see this retrograde conjunction at 14. And then we add 8 years. And in 1993, on April 1st, we see this retrograde conjunction at 11 degrees of Aries, and we add 8 years, and we get to 2001 on March the 30th at 9.5 degrees of Aries. And then we go another 8 years ahead, and we come to 2009 on March the 27th, going down to 7 degrees of Aries. Then in 2017, March the 25th, at almost 5 degrees of Aries. And now here we are. March 23rd, it's actually the 22nd in my time zone. Sure, in Australia and England, it will be the 23rd. Now, why you want to know this? What's the point? Well, there's contention in astrology communities, but this is my observed experience, and it makes sense to me. When Venus is retrograde, she's close to Earth. She's between the Earth and the Sun, appearing to go backwards. And she's connecting to the Sun, which represents King Soul, the divine, the lap of the king and the conjunction, the divine intelligence, the headquarters, that influences everything in reality. It's like sitting with God and having a powwow in the Garden of Eden. But she's doing it close to Earth, between the Sun and the Earth, and can transmit the wisdom of the Sun to those of us in the Earth plane. In other words, she's connecting more deeply to the Earth and those who are on the Earth, the souls that are inhabiting the Earth. Whereas when she's co-joined the Sun in her superior conjunction, when she's on the other side of the Sun, and the Earth is between Venus and the Sun, and we can't even see her, she's not consorting with the mortals and the Earth plane at all. And so to me, what I would say is that the retrograde star points or retrograde Cazimis, conjunctions with the Sun, Venus is intimate with the Sun and transmitting the Sun's divine intelligence to our soul here on Earth. She's also going to be born again as what we call the morning star, and that is also connected to the Taurus, a sign of Taurus, and that's connected to the sublunar sphere, and that connects to the material realm. Long story short, she's more of the earthly plane as she goes into the Sun from a retrogradation and more concerned with matters of our earthly world. Whereas the other side, she's more in her Libra zone, and she's concerned with the solar sphere and matters of the spirit, the soul, and the loftier stories that are less concerned with the everyday. Now, understanding that, I want you to consider your life in the cycle of this chart that I'm showing you. I want you to go back in time and remember what happened in March 25th, 2017. And then I want you to add 9 months, because over 9.5 months until January of 2018, when she would have conjunct the Sun in the sign of Capricorn, and she'd be doing that again this time, January of 26, conjuncting the Sun in the sign of Capricorn. This is her period of time in which she is giving you a 9.5 month red carpet rollout, describing to you themes that are in like the Coles notes. That's Canadian, isn't it? You guys have another one, but like the précis or the summary of what is going to happen thematically over the next 8 years. So for example, I'll use me. Why not? I know myself. Back in March of 2017, this conjunction was on my moon. Moon can represent your home. Moon can represent your nest and where you live, and matters to do with safety. And my landlord declared between March of 17 and January of 18 that she was selling the house I lived in, and that led to me having to move. And I did indeed move because of that. If I go back to this one in 2025, a week before this conjunction happens, my landlord told me she's selling the home. You cannot make this stuff up. Both the 2 degree Aries and the 5 degree Aries points that were activated connect to the word home in my chart. My moon is at 8 degrees Aries. Those are within conjunction degrees. And in fact, indeed, in 2009, March 27th, at 7 degrees of Aries, it was also close enough to my moon to count. And yeah, you guessed it. In 2010, I moved into a new home. So it took a year, but I saw the writing on the wall, right? I knew that I would be moving because circumstances inform me of that possibility. But that's because it's my moon, right? So your moon is connected to home. But you can also say, what if you're an Aries rising, or like I'm an Aquarius rising? It activates third house matters, travel, trips, local neighborhood, writing, communicating, marketing, selling, reset button, reset button, reset button. Now I'll be delineating this for your sign, not to worry. So if you go back through the sky and look at this, and if you have planets anywhere in Aries, you will have those planets awakened. And rather than me try to describe that to you, just simply think of it this way. Say you have a Jupiter or a Mercury or a Saturn or a Mars or your own Venus in Aries. And these star points are happening, or these conjunctions to the sun are happening in the sky on the regular every 4 years. But the retrograde motion is the full reset button that indicates a whole 8-year cycle. But I'm going to give you the planets in a minute. So go back a minute. March of 2017 at almost 5 Aries leads to March of 2025. And in the middle of that, right, is this 2021. And so that middle point is like a full moon. It's like the halfway point in an 8-year story at the 4-year mark. And yes, things connected to the same themes are unfolding at the halfway mark of a story. So let me use me as yet another example. In March of 2017, not only did I have notice of a change of home, but also what happened in the 9 months that followed that, but also I launched my first ever online teaching course and made money. Before that, I was an editor at Elephant Journal, Good Men Project Magazine, Huffington Post columnist, had a piece in Business Insider. I was a journalist online, right? That was my career. But no, the reset button in my third house of communicating, marketing, selling, periodicals and magazines, but also the online world, initiated by Venus, the goddess of money and prosperity, initiated a new career path for me that began in 2017 and took me to where you see me today in front of you. In fact, I launched my YouTube channel in early 2018. It wasn't Lunatic Astrology. It was just my name, Lori Lothian, and it literally connects to me becoming an online presence. So if you are somebody who can track your history, it makes sense to do so, because whatever started in 2017 is closing up shop. Over the next 9 months, by the time you get to the Capricorn reset button, when she co-joins the sun in Capricorn in January, you'll have an understanding that you're launching in a new direction for 8 years. For me, I gave you my examples. But for you, it will be different, right? We're all very different. And so you'll have to know your own cycle and you'll have to understand your own sky, but I'll do my best to give you a general delineation. Now, what's so exciting also about this story is Pluto. Venus is coming into contact with Pluto as she hits the star point. And this is the first in a lifetime, because we haven't had Pluto ever in the sign of Aquarius sextiling Venus co-joined the sun in our lifetimes. It was happening 248 years ago. And so this is exciting because it brings in power of regeneration, catharsis, renewal, the power of love and the love of power, Pluto sextile Venus. And at the same time, Juno, the goddess of peace, harmony, and unions, is also involved in a mini grand trine. This is a grace triangle, and it brings luck. It brings good things. It brings positive things to your life, my life. It's not just for the week it's happening. It's for at least the next 9 months, okay, until she co-joins the sun again in another sign, Capricorn. A lot of you know that she co-joins the sun in only 5 signs at this time in our life. It's Gemini, Aries, and Leo, and Capricorn and Scorpio. And those 5 points of the sky are activated, but it will be changing. She'll start to activate the Libra sky after 2030, and after 2039, she'll start activating the Pisces sky, and we'll have 2 new points to accompany the Leo, the Gemini, and the Capricorn star points or conjunctions to the sun. She makes a 5-pointed star in the heavens, and she rotates that star retrograde motion or in clockwise motion. Now, there's this exciting other thing I want to share with you, and that's my jewelry. I want to give away some of it. I got so much Otter Spirit Jewelry, it's ridiculous. And I love this stuff, and I'm going to have a giveaway. And if you join my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, and you want to join as soon as you can, but I'll be announcing exactly how the contest works, and I'll be giving stuff away on my Thursday video only to my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter subscribers, because this weekly video about the Venus star point is covering also on Thursday. I'll be talking about the solar ingress into Aries and the beginning of the cycle, the astrological new year. Say you were to get some of their amazing jewelry, just say you wanted to, but I'm giving 3 bracelets away to my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, weekly forecast newsletter. Subscribe. You can get in the contest. I gave away readings and other stuff last time I had a contest a couple of weeks ago. So these beautiful boxes it comes in, and they always say each gemstone tells a unique story. It's time to tell yours. Comes with a beautiful little felt pouch for gifts, and it's gorgeous. And then for 20% off if you buy it through my link below, right? This is an example, Blue Apatite. I'm having the Blue Apatite here. That's on my, these 3 are called the Gemini Trio bracelets. Blue Apatite, confidence. I communicate clearly and confidently. It's good for Gemini, Pisces, Libra, Cap, and it's the 3rd eye and throat chakra. And so what I love about it is how they give you these little beautiful ways of seeing it. The green jade bracelet, turn everything I touch into gold, prosperity, Taurus, Virgo, Libra, Gemini. I don't know which one I'm giving away yet. I haven't decided. Moonstone, I am guided by grace, intuition, good for the Cancer, Libra, Virgo, Scorpios, for example, right? So I don't know which ones I'm giving away. I haven't decided yet. Howlite, that's in my trio here, my Gemini trio. Howlite looks like kind of gray, a gray white stone. It's kind of pretty. And I stay calm in stressful situations. Gemini, Scorpio, Virgo, Cap. Oh, I like this one, hematite. I remain unshaken. I remain unshaken during challenging times. Now, look, I'm going to just, honestly, I'm just going to very briefly show you what their beautiful website looks like, because I'm just an affiliate, right? But I love the jewelry. I authentically love it. On a Venus video, you got to share your jewelry, and diamonds are a girl's best friend and all that stuff. I cannot believe I have to record this video all over again. Here we go. It is so funny. So look how beautiful the website is. And this is what it's like. Those 30% off are only for certain stones this month. So if you want to order anything using my affiliate link for 20% off, it's in the description box right under the video, under the more button, ... But just want to show you all the jewelry is very beautiful. AAA, Otter Spirit gives to Otter protection or whatever in the wild. And I just think they're gorgeous. I really love their work. I love what they do. And you can get astrologically sophisticated jewelry. And that's so rare these days with good quality. And they actually go shop by zodiac, and you click the button and then you're in the zodiac packs. Aren't those amazing? Like, honestly, look at that Aquarius mini bracelet pack. That's what I'm going to get next. I actually have to say I'm somewhat addicted to their jewelry, and I'm not just doing this because I'm an affiliate. I think what they have created is absolutely incredible, and it's authentically in alignment with who I am. I have a Venus and Taurus, and I love my flowers and my jewelry. And this is so funny. This baby, oh my God. I didn't realize when I grabbed it that this is like hollyhock or something. Whatever this is, it smells amazing. It's part of my Venus altar with you call those little willow thingies? What are they called again? Anyway, so beautiful. So I love flowers. I love chocolate. I love kombucha. I love good quality gemstones. I like gemstones that are made with stones. I like things that are of the earth, not plastic, because it's grounding. All right, moving on. Join my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter, description box below, how to sign up. You can always leave after you didn't win the contest, but you might want to stick around because I have all kinds of impromptu giveaways. Recording today, March the 15th, for my Patreon community who gets this early access ad free. Also, people want a reading with me. Unfortunately, I can't give it to you anymore. Only if you're on my Patreon community, then when I open my calendar. I'm opening my calendar in June, but I let them know beforehand when it's open, And then the days that it opens, and then they rushed in and they book with me. And even though I give it first dibs on Patreon, of course, everybody doesn't get a spot. That's the best I can do. The broad public, you want to get a reading with me, you may have a chance by joining Patreon for $5 a month. Otherwise, I'm sorry. I'll start to put a list together of astrologers I recommend. I've been doing that, and I'll add that list to my website. Now, let's get going. Let's talk about your sign. I'm going to give you a screenshotable. I'm not going to explain it. We're doing your sign. We're moving into this mini grand trine. Yay, Pluto. Yay, Juno. Good for peace treaties. End of the Ukraine war for sure. It'll kill that war. It's done. It will bring a possibility of a new union, new love story to your life, or consolidation of an old one. We'll show you the sky. Depends on your sign. You're going to listen for your sun, moon, or rising. Sun is your avatar. It's kind of like, sun is your true self, the actress playing the role, the essential you, the soul of you, but it's also career and purpose. Your moon is your home and needs home, nest, and safety, and how you feel about life. The rising sign is your avatar, your character in the game of life. Aquarians are like Spock. Leos have big hair. Cancers have usually round faces and they're crabby with their claws, that kind of thing. It's the character you're playing. Woo! And Aquarians are skinny, and Aries, I have an Aries sun, have high foreheads. We actually look like our signs. It's kind of crazy. Rising signs, I mean. All right, but you can look like your sun sign too. Now, what I want to show you is a quick screenshot, and then we're doing your sign. We're going to spend about 5 minutes on each sign. I'm going to just target the Venus star point, what it might mean for the next 9 months in your life, but with the understanding it's resetting an 8-year cycle. It's going to take 8 years to fulfill all of the energies of it. So it's not about this week per se, although it is the video for the week ahead, because this is the biggest deal of the week ahead on March the 22nd, Saturday in my time zone. FYI, if you're someone who does astrological magic or wants to do it as an election, send out an email or do something important, post a video, register a domain on the Cazimi of Venus. When Venus is in the heart of the sun around 6 p.m., 6:05 p.m., Pacific time, Pacific Daily Time. Try to wait between 6 p.m., 6:05 p.m. Pacific Daily Time until 9 a.m. the next morning, March 23rd, because that's the window where she's still in the heart of the sun, within 60 degrees of the sun, 59 minutes, of the sun, 59 minutes of the sun, and she's on the other side of the sun. So she's being born again. She's not going into her death throes. Okay. Just a good bit of astrological guidance for you. Adjust for your time zone. Just ask Siri what the time zone is. Somehow I'm always confused when people they seem to be lost in space about time zone conversions. And I'm like, wait, we've got this thing called Siri. Wait, I'm not seeing anything. I don't see what I'm sharing with you. I'm trying to share one more screenshotable before we get going. It's in preview mode. That's why. Let me pull it back up. I want you to just see the lay of the retrograde story. So give me a second while I grab it. She's in my downloads. This is a good screenshotable. You can have it handy and use it. And then we'll go do your sign. It just gives you the lay of the story, the timeline of the story. That's what I'm trying to say. The timeline of the story is coming up for you now. There we have it. Just want you to know what's happening, right? It's not until June 6th that Venus enters Taurus, for gosh sakes. She'll have been in Pisces all of January, basically, and then going back in and out between Pisces and Aries between January and June. Half a year, Venus is hanging out in both Pisces and Aries. That's insane, but that's the cycle we're in. And so if you want to look at this and screenshot it, it helps you understand the lay of the land. And understanding, of course, that she'll be back in Pisces March 27th, retrograding in, and then April 12th turns around at 24 Pisces, finally leaves the shadow territory of where she's been traveling by May 16th, entered the shadow on January 28th. All shadow means is that she's traveling over degrees that she's traveled before, right? So that means like January 28th, she's trundling along, da-da-da-da-da, having a good time, blah, blah, blah. Starting off at 10 degrees, what's the actual degree in my brain, at 24 Pisces on January 28th. She's going across 24 Pisces. And then she hits 10 Aries and goes backwards all the way to 24 Pisces on April 12th, and then heads direct, right? But as she heads direct, she's going to head back to 10 Aries. So you'll see that this whole zone of 24 Pisces, 10 Aries is in play from January 28th to May 16th. And anything going on in your sky and that range of planets, 24 Pisces to 10 Aries, is getting reactivated, activated, and activated again. And we're connecting to stories that we can't complete in the Pisces Aries part of our sky until after May 16th. And by June 6th, finally, she's in another sign, which is Taurus. And I'm looking forward to that. She'll meet my Venus in Taurus at 0 degrees and in fourth house, and we'll have a good time. Have a big party. By then, who knows? Maybe I'll be moved out of my house because, as I said, there's like 5 reasons in the sky I knew I was going to move. I kept looking for my emails from my landlord. I knew she was going to give me notice. I knew it. And she gave me notice like 2 days ago, the day before the Virgo eclipse. All right. But I have 3, 4, or 5 months to move out. She has to find a buyer, and then I get 3 months more notice. So, but it's like, okay, I'm moving again. All right. This is 2 years I've been in this beautiful home. All righty. Moving into the next narrative is your sign. The reason I feel like, is I taught a 2-hour class on my Venus retrograde class this morning. And I did half an hour of this recording and had to start over. And I got up at 6 a.m. So like, holy man, I'm losing my mojo. Let's go ahead and do each separate sign. We're starting with Aries, of course. And I'm sure the sky's not ready. I'm sure everything's a hot mess. So let's fix it. All right. Like, just ignore me while I tidy up the sky. We're going to, first of all, click the button that says now. Then we're going to delete a bunch of junk in the trunk, and we're going to make it simple. So I would like to get rid of anything that doesn't look like what I'm trying to show you. So we're leaving in Pluto, of course. I'm going to take out a lot of stuff. So just don't stress about it. I want you to just focus on Venus and the sun. We can leave Mercury there because he's a big player. We're going to add Juno because she's activating, the goddess of commitments, contracts, agreements, and peace treaties. Or where are you, Juno? Put you in there. I just want to make it very simple, right? Very, very simple. And we're going to get a mini grand trine. There we have a mini. Oh, and all these little asteroids, just ignore them as well. That's for my class I'm teaching on the Venus retrograde. And I'm not going to talk about them at this juncture. So let me move us forward to the actual day of the story, which is 22 of March, my time zone. And there's a bunch of asteroids here. That's Boris CC, by the way, and that's Ophelia and Manway. I am not going to talk about everybody here. I might leave Ophelia in, maybe not. It's just a lot of information that you will get if you were in my Venus Star Point class, and we'd be meditating Venus retrograde class on it. So I'll just leave them there. I'm not going to delete them, but I can see myself, people coming into the thingy before they hear the intro. I can see them coming in and asking me, what the heck is that WTF? So we're only going to leave in the ones that I care about, right? The biggies. We're not going to keep the outliers in. Not today. Okay, not today. Poseidon, we will definitely leave. All right, that's going to be simple enough. Sigh. Oh, poor Lucifer. Lucifer's involved. The rebel angel, the light bearer, the bringer of light, the most beautiful angel in the heavens, the inciting of a rebellion in the heavens, in the heaven. All right, so there is a rebellious energy here. Maybe I'll leave it for your sign and just briefly tap into it, since it's perfectly at 2 degrees. And of course, Venus and the sun are at 2 degrees. Mercury just means news and messages will be delivered on your doorstep, because he will deliver the news that the star point is offering. I'll just leave Lucifer there for now. I may or may not address it as I go through each sign, because I'm losing my voice today. I taught and talked for 2.5 hours, did a half-hour video that didn't work out. The mic was off, and now I'm starting all over. It's like, holy man. Let's get going with Aries to start. Now, this is what we're talking about, the rare mini grand trine. That'll be the headline, rare mini grand trine, first in a lifetime kind of vibe. And it is first in a lifetime. You might notice that what I do on my channel that I don't see enough people do is talk about cycles and rarity and repeating, because that's what makes it exciting, right? None of us were here 248 years ago to feel a Pluto sextile, a Venus star point. None of us were here for that, let alone add Juno over here retrograding at 1 degrees of Sag. Very tight energies going on. Oh, I forgot to keep Poseidon in. We'll add Poseidon back. Sorry, Poseidon, I deleted you. So Poseidon is co-joined, the god of the oceans and the sea, often connected to storms, by the way, metaphorical and real. Okay, metaphorical and real. He's like Neptune. And this is a mini grand trine that can calm the storms, calm the seas. All right. So let's start off with Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, first of all, Aries, you might notice that you have Venus star pointing at 2 degrees or conjuncting the sun at 2 degrees from a retrograde in the sign of you. And I don't care what degree your Aries sun, moon, or rising is, it's still impacting you. And it is a very personal reset button to redefine home, career, or identity over the next 8 years, with an emphasis on the first 9.5 months, which takes us to January of 2026. And so look for major changes in your own life and how you perceive yourself. If it's your rising sign, Aries, you may change your career, your relationship, your home. You may change your relationship to fertility and children. Any of the houses can be impacted by a rising sign reset button for you. And you might notice that this is a mini trine happening where there's a focus on Pluto for powerful transformation, regeneration, and wealth. In the 11th house, the 11th house of good spirit, which represents a place of good things, your long range dreams and plans for your life, your great gains and any gains directly from the 10th house of career, your friends, allies, benefactors, a sibling, one older. In essence, it's a place where people wish to help you, and it's a place where you have networks of belonging and groups of support. And so in this regard, there's a powerful regeneration of that part of your sky as you reset your identity in some fundamental way. You will also notice Juno in the 9th house is suggesting that marriage and partnership may have a priority. She's the goddess of marriage and partnership. It can be contracts as well. 9th house is publications. You might have a book publishing contract. You might have a connection to a new relationship from someone in a foreign shore or foreign land. With the retrogradation of Jupiter, the insinuation is this is a relationship contract or agreement that you've been in touch with from the past. This could also be an agreement to go off to a university or college. So there are things up here that are necessarily from the past because of Juno's retrograde status reactivated. And so if you're in a relationship, and some of you might be, and some of you may not be, Venus is the ruler of long-term committed love. And as she resets in the Aries sky, she can suggest you might reset a relationship in marriage, in long-term commitment. You may hit a reset button, especially the sun also ruling the house of romance. So you may reset an existing relationship, or an old one from the past could come back for a reset as well. We're not talking about what happens this week. We're talking about a baked-in energy that applies to the next 9 months through until early 2026. But look for clues that this could be true sooner than then as the 9 months unfold. Now, there is a little bit of a Lucifer, the devil down there, Lucifer morning star, which represents an aspect of Venus herself, her morning star iteration. And when you see the Lucifer energy in your 4th house, where are you a light bearer and bringer that's also a rebel? And how can you do that in and from your home or connected to matters of your home? Lucifer is squaring this Cazimi, indicating a potential for a decision or action that needs to be taken regarding where you live. So your home, your land, and your property. And things to do with your family of origin, where there are light bearers, light bringers, rebels in your family of origin. And are you remembering that and reactivating the rebel yell of some of your ancestors that could be true in this particular sky? And it could very strongly indicate a kind of energy that activates a kind of, I don't know, holy war for a change in your life. And I mean that like in the sense that in the heavens, Lucifer was in a rebellious state against the status quo, right? And so where can you be in a rebellious state against the status quo of something that maybe comes from the growing up? It can be home, it can be homeland, right? I want to rebel out of Canada because I'm finding Canada increasingly obnoxious. So yes, it's too woke for me, I think, too socialist for me at this point in my life. I'm probably libertarian, but I'm a fiscal conservative. I have my own business. And the taxes here are insane. So that's just an example. Now, what I'm going to do is move to the oh, and I would remind you that with Poseidon sitting with Pluto, right? It's like the brothers, right? Poseidon and Pluto are the brothers of ancient myth. There's some kind of storms that are quelling. I'm going to say quelling because Venus sextiles the god of storms. So the storms you've experienced in your social networks or career gains or long range goals and dreams or relationship to a sibling one young older than you, the storms and the whirlwinds and the cyclones may be quelled here. And there may be a soothing of that because Venus will not incite a storm in a sextile. She will quell or soothe a storm. And she does flow to Juno. So really great stories for new love and new connected love. If you're a single Aries, you could meet somebody in a foreign country or from a foreign shore. And if you're a single Aries, you could definitely find love in a campus or university setting. Depends on your age, but Juno is up there. The retrograde suggests, though, some connections to the past in some way or means. Wow, Taurus, first in a lifetime. Pluto, engaged in a Venus star point at 2 Aries in your 12th house of self-undoing. Look, if you have an addiction and you've been working on this cycle, right? 2001, 9, 17, everyone, please listen to the intro. I want you to understand this. You're going to go back and do it again. You're going to try to reset a button regarding self-sabotage, your own worst enemy. You are your own worst enemy. And if you can clear something here, you're doing it with transformative, transgenerative, cathartic energies of Pluto. And it can impact how you perceive your self love energy. Perhaps Venus is about how we love ourselves and and what we value in relationship to career success, because a lot of you Tauruses with Pluto up there are massively transforming a death and rebirth experience regarding purpose and career and reputation and social standing. And the storms are quelling, the storms are soothing out here as Poseidon is being loved by Venus from the 12th with Juno in your 8th house. And this pertains to the next 9 months. With Venus in your 8th house, Juno in your 8th house, agreements, vows, and contracts that are karmic. This is one of the karmic houses, past lives included, or elements of agreements you've made in the secret shadows. Maybe you've made them and nobody knows you made them, but you're looking at those agreements being activated here. I would say that there's something positive if you're in the money story too. Juno is in the house of the money that you share with your spouse or an inheritance. Pluto is in the house of the father. Some of you may get a little bit of an inheritance from a father figure, and that Juno is just signing on the legal contractual agreements between now and perhaps and next January. With the 12th house activation, if you make money in any possible way in the work and livelihood sphere from a foreign country, foreign place, or you're employed by a foreign company, this is going to indicate positive financial gains in this regard, because Venus is setting up a story for better money. And it's interesting to see that, of course, Venus does rule your 6th house of work across the way, indicating a potential reset button for matters to do with work in your life as well. She rules your body, of course, too. And that's why those addictions are good for your health. And the 6th house is also the house of health matters. So you're seeing a reset for your health, a reset for your body, and maybe a reset for the work you wish to do in the world and the gains that you wish to accrue in the career space, in the work you do in this life and in this world. Because of the sun representing the 4th house and Juno, the goddess of marriage, where she's sitting, just a very few may have an opportunity to move to another country because your spouse is going to be employed in another country. And you might know about that by January of 2026, the 9.5 months that follows this Venus star point. And don't forget, this is a new cycle of the last 8 years, just like in 2017, 2009, 2001. Did I miss anybody? We're back again. Gemini. Venus is in a reset mode. She's going to reset your 11th house of good spirit, and it is an 8-year story. It's cold in Vancouver. It's rainy and cold. And what I think you're going to have going on here is just like in 2001 March and 2009 March and 2017 March, add 9.5 months each of those times. You're basically starting again in some new vision, new dream, new goal, new aspiration, new long range plan for your life. Your forward thinking part of your sky is starting all over again, resetting itself. And so you're going to come up with over the next 9 months, new long range goals for your life, particularly regarding career, but all areas as well. Now, you might find that the friendship circles and the groups of belonging are also about to change because of this reset button. And so there's major shifts in the social crew, your networks, your social groups on the horizon over the next 9.5 months, and perhaps in forming a whole new type of friendship circle over the next 8 years. I would also mention, because Venus is in the house of a sibling one older than you, there could be a massive reset in that relationship to that sibling, and a positive one at that. With this new beginning, you'll see that Pluto, for the first time in your life, is activating the 9th house of far off distant shores, foreign lands, third marriages in derived houses system that I used, connections to academics and book publishing. Pluto is with Poseidon. If there's been any storms in these areas, they're now the chop is smoothing out a bit. Okay, now we're talking about over the next 9 months, and also potentially, if you want to go back to university or school, or you want to get into a book publishing deal, or you want to travel or even relocate, Mercury rules your 4th house, is co-join Venus to another country. The answer is yes, you could do that. And you might also notice that there is Juno, the goddess of committed love and marriage, in the marriage house across the way, flowing to the 9th house of foreign lands and distant shores. Single Geminis might find themselves engaging in a new relationship between now and next January that puts them in touch with a foreigner, foreign place, or foreign shore. This would be particularly true in a third marriage, but any marriage as well. It doesn't have to be that. And Juno is retrograde. So there is something about the past, people you've known in the past or past life, connected to committed love and relationship. Juno, as a goddess of contractual agreements and vows, in the house of contractual agreements and vows and legal agreements, the 7th house, can indicate a legal publishing contract or illegal visa agreements being signed in the next 9.5 months. With Lucifer in your 2nd house, the devil is in the 2nd house, the morning star, the rebel, the angel who caused a kerfuffle in heaven, who's also beautiful and light bearing, is in the money house, the money and earnings and possessions house. And he's squaring Venus, and squares just mean take action and make decisions, but there's tension there. And so your long range goals and dreams and pleasures and visions and hopes for your life connect more deeply to a need to make a change and make some effective decisions about the money making, and to be a bit of a rebel here, to be a bit of a bringer of light as well. It may even be decisions to make money in a way that you consider more bearing of light in the world. And don't forget, I don't think of Lucifer as a bad guy. That's not Satan. This is like the beautiful angel, the light bearer, the light bringer. And you have to think of him more like, reframe history, right? Yes, of course, he was full of pride and he had a fall, but he was still bringing light and he was still a rebel. So you don't want to have a fall in the money house. So make decisions and take actions that your pride doth not come before a fall, and choose wisely here to follow Venus's lead, find your deepest joyful dreams and visions that are more true. Venus wants them to have a bit of pioneering instinct, to go where you've never gone before in a new vision, goal, and dream for your life. And just be aware of a fall around money because you were too prideful, perhaps, but also maybe just rebelling and making a change in the way you possess and earn and create financial resources in your life. Venus is the ruler of your 5th house of entrepreneurship and creativity, and also romance. So again, this is definitely good for your new relationships or old, but also connecting to that impulse for creative energy, artistic expression, and entrepreneurial success. as you reset a life vision and get some Pluto power backing you up. Pluto's in a Dharma house, so it's moving into alignment with your purpose in a deep way that you may have not done before, that also forges and forms new visions, dreams, and goals, and long-range plans for what you desire to achieve in your life. Now, you're a Cancer, and I hope you listen to the intro. Please do. But, 2001, 2009, 2017, in the month of March, Venus reset your 10th house of career. And over the 9 months that followed, each of those times, she was trying to show you a new way, a new direction, a new way to go, a reset. This is a reset button that's at the top of the sky, so it can reset your reputation and your social standing, as well as your career and purpose. And with Mercury, you may expect some announcements, maybe closer than 9 months, maybe some news, some information, some offers, some opportunities coming your way. But she wants to reset a path, not just a day or a week. She wants to reset you over the course of the next 8 years with all the evidence you need for the reset in the next 9.5 months. Venus up here is in a flow to Pluto for the first time in 250 years in the sign of Aquarius. This is a reset button around career that can reset your finances to a tremendous degree. It can allow for a huge amount of wealth and prosperity, and quelling the storms around your 401k, your retirement money, your money with your spouse, your inheritance monies, quelling some of the Poseidon storms and concerns there, and bringing a deep richness and prosperity to that part of your sky. If you're an occultist, if you're in the tarot or astrology realm, some of you may indeed be looking at your life through the lens of powering up your career in a more spiritual or supernatural or occult mysteries way. And this is an inheritance house, and a father figure may bequeath money to you in some manner over the course of the next 9 months. Doesn't have to pass away, just give you some money. With Juno in your 6th house, this is your health, this is your work, this is your pets, this is your rental agreements. Venus is the lord of the 4th house and the 10th, and therefore new rental agreements and property agreements, including buying and selling with Pluto in the 8th, look like they're on the agenda over the next 9.5 months for you. Now, this is different than other times because we're talking about Juno, and she wasn't here in the other years. We determined, this is a new vibe. This is a mini grand trine. It's lucky. Great opportunity, therefore, for buying and selling property, for new pets to emerge, particularly reincarnation of a dead pet and agreements to buy that pet from the breeder or something. New energies regarding commitments and vows you make to your health, and also new commitments and vows connected to the boss, the career, space energy, Artha houses 10 and 6. If you're looking for work, the star point in the next 9.5 months can bring you a beautiful new job and a likelihood of a new career path with it, not just a job. The the rebel angel, the light bringer, he did fall from too much pride, right? Cast down, is in your 1st house. And your 1st house has a lot to do with your identity, has a lot to do with how you see yourself and the world sees you, has a lot to do with your physical body. Now, you could be a rebel. I mean, Lucifer is asking Venus to make a decision yesterday already. There's urgency around new decisions and actions to take regarding career matters, particularly with the consideration of a benefit towards your physical well-being, right? So especially with Juno in the 6th, Lucifer in the 1st, your physical well-being is on the menu. You're trying to make decisions and take actions with a bit of urgency here over the next 9 months to change your career direction or to benefit your physical wellness, for example, and to be more aligned with what you wish to do that brings a light bearer, a light bringer energy to the world. I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this, but I'm going to keep going. Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Please like and subscribe, especially when you're live premiere. Put a lot of love and energy into these videos. I appreciate that I'm at almost 106,000 subscribers. I'm so very, very grateful. But liking and subscribing is the least I ask of you. It's the medicine for the channel. It helps it grow. So Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a story that you encountered in the past when Venus was resetting your 9th house back in 2001. 2009, 2017. Each of those springs, each of those Marches, you're going to add 9 months. 9 months, you reset something. It lasted, like you might have known what was happening by the time you got to January of the following year of each of these stories. It could reset your direction when it comes to father relationship. Father figures can be the 9th house. It can reset you when it comes to matters to do with your connection to academics, universities, book publishing, foreign lands, visas, travel, and court and legal matters. Reset button. It's a Dharma house. It's always going to put you back in touch with your purpose. You're activating the question of purpose, meaningful life, being in alignment with one's Tao, the purpose, the direction your life wants to go, your true north. So if you're off purpose, this is going to reset you. But you got 9 months to see where that reset takes you, basically. I need water. Juno is different this time, and Pluto. This is forming a mini grand trine. Now, just to be clear, Leo, sun, moon, and risings, you don't mind this story because it is a fire trine to you. You're willing to go with the flow and let it happen and let opportunity knock on your door. Knock, knock, knock. Because trines are the nature of Jupiter and bring luck, expansion, growth, and opportunity. So it's fortunate. But I will say that Pluto, for the first time in your life, is trying to transform, regenerate, renew, cathartically activate your marriage house or your significant business partners or the audience and marketplace. So certainly with a Poseidon there, this could be the quelling or the ending of some storms that Venus is trying to soothe in a primary long-term relationship. Juno is in the house of romantic love and sexuality. So if you're single, this could be a collaboration of Juno, Pluto, and Venus, the power of love. And you could get a new love story, a third marriage off the ground, 9th house stories, meet somebody from a foreign culture or land, meet somebody in an academic setting, and get a hot romance that's very committed and connects to long-term stabilized relationship. You might have an agreement with a long-term partner to have a baby and get pregnant. This could also procure a grandchild for an older Leo, and you might be coming into grandparenthood in the next 9 months, or knowledge that you will be a grandparent in the next 9 months. However, one other way of saying it is if you're in an existing relationship, there may be some agreements of sacred contracts to do with sexual and romantic love. Maybe you're going to agree that you're celibate together. Maybe you're going to agree that you're going to have sex again. Maybe they're going to make some agreements around the romantic part of your relationship to stabilize the relationship. Possibly. Anything is possible. Your children belong to the 5th house. This is not the most obvious story about your children, but your children could bring you news that they are going to have a baby, and that's definitely a possibility here. I kind of want to talk a little bit about Lucifer. All right, so what about him? Lucifer is in your 12th house, and this is not like the other times, right? These asteroids are all in different places. Okay, so like where you have to, oh my God, be a rebel, bear a light, bring a light, be a rebel yell, light bearer energy regarding your own self-undoing, your own self-sabotage. And maybe it's just bringing a light to it, bearing the light so you can see in the closet of the back room of the 12th. I always say the 12th house is like there's a rug over a trapdoor with a sofa on top of it. And under all of that is a subterranean place that you can't easily see called your 12th house. Well, you got a light there. Lucifer has a big phosphorus. He's a bright light. And you're shining it in a place that's hard to see. And because what you can see now about your past lives, your karmic vows, your self-undoing, you're able to make decisions and take actions that align you more directly with your life's purpose because it's squaring Venus in the house of the meaning of your life. And some of you might have some breakthroughs around spiritual philosophy as you suddenly have awareness of where you want to go regarding your spiritual philosophy, your spiritual ideals, maybe even your religion. I mean, certainly, I forgot to say the house of religion is your 9th house, and some of you might be resetting your religion every time this happens every 9 years. You never know. Hopefully there's no father figure in a hospital setting in the next 9 months, but that's possible with the light of the torch of Lucifer in the house of hospitals and a square to father figures. And just so you know, I don't want to say that's going to happen, but I need to make you aware it's possibly happening for some of you. Virgo, am I recording? If I'm not, I'll just shoot myself. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Yes, in the beginning, I explained 2001, 2009, 2017, 2025. You reset one part of your sky, chunky money, eighth house, inheritances, shared spousal resources, business partnership, monies from, a stock investment portfolio, shareholder, royalty income from a book publishing deal, because you share the money, share it with the royalties with the publisher. So these kinds of more unearned income are sources that are shared with others are activated here. That includes spousal separation monies, or just a decision to pull your resources with your primary partner. Okay. So you're resetting that button here. I have a Virgo rising daughter. In 2017, she got, is that 2017? Yes, by 2018, she got inheritance money within the year of the star point that came through that part of her sky from her grandma. So some of you may find that you're going to receive money here as well, yet again. And perhaps you can go back at the other reset buttons I mentioned and see that pattern, restoring itself over and over. This Pluto is wealth and riches in the sixth house, however, and this could mean you may come into some money that allows you to eliminate a debt completely, a karmic debt with another person or a financial debt. This Pluto in the sixth house can regenerate your life regarding a pet, especially with Juno in the fourth house. So a new pet comes to you, but particularly a pet that has passed on. That sounds crazy. Reincarnation of a dead animal. You'll be able to tell the temperament, the marking, something about it. But if you have a new animal come into your life, and it's very possible some of you will in 9 months ahead receive a pet, take a pet, buy a pet, get a pet, agree to a pet, you're going to look at that through the lens of, this is just like my old cat or my old dog. So similar. I think that with Juno here and Pluto in the sixth house of rentals, in the next 9.5 months through to, January of 2026, it looks like powerful, positive new rental opportunities emerging to release a home as a tenant or to rent out your home as a landlord. A few of you under this energy could purchase a home in that time frame or begin to see the way by the time you get to early 2026 for the possibility of a purchase of a property. All right. And you can improve your health, transform your health indeed. Pluto is regenerative, transformative, renewal. And you may purge out something, purging and being a purger. That's very Plutonian. Venus is a ruler of what you put in your mouth and nose. I don't care if you're inhaling or you're snorting or you're eating. If it goes in the nose or mouth, it's a second house thing, and Venus may help you. The sun rules your 12th house of self-undoing. This is very much a breaking through of addictions that no longer serve your health and a massive regeneration as a result of it. Right? Any Virgo struggling with an addiction. I just made a joke about one of my Virgo girlfriends, I have many, coming in with her sobriety book, her Quit Lit Chick book, the Chick Quit Lit book, and making this new I'm not drinking wine statement, so that's an example for you. And my daughter has also stopped drinking alcohol. She's a Virgo rising as well. So I'm seeing a lot of Virgos purifying these days, especially after that eclipse in Virgo that we just had, amplifying it. But this Venus reset can also help you do that because of the Pluto sextile to the house of health, and because of Venus, the ruler of your house of what you ingest through the nose and mouth. Okay. So we're talking about substances that are not good for you. It could be gluten, right? It doesn't have to be cocaine or wine. All right. I don't know, guys. My voice is giving out. Oh, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you. All right. Venus is resetting in the seventh house. She resets in the seventh house just like this in the every 8-year cycle and gives you a new 8-year story in marriage, long-term committed love, business partnership. She reset you here 2001, 2009, 2017. Each of those times you would have added about 9.5, 10 months. And here we are again. So if you're looking for love and you're a single Libra, then of course this is going to open up a gateway for you. And it's very feasible that this can look like a new relationship emerging by the time you get to January of 26. If you're with somebody, you might want to reset the terms of that relationship and renew them and set new parameters for the relationship, right? This is what we want in this relationship. A lot of communication. Mercury is there. Venus is also connected to your Pluto fifth house piece of sky. New relationships that are transforming you because of the powerful transformational, regenerative, and cathartic nature of the sexual romantic energy. Could also be that you are looking at entrepreneurial and creative projects, meeting with legal agreements and contracts that are positive and powerful and enriching. So your book gets published, your song gets picked up by a label, your painting gets picked up by a gallery, and you have agreements and contracts around creative and artistic projects that are very successful. Pluto's a new variable. Poseidon can quell some storms about creative and entrepreneurial and romantic challenges as well with Venus. And, Venus is your ruler. So what she does over here matters to you, right? She's got your back. She's your person. Well, what about Juno, the asteroid for commitment? She's retrograding through your third house, trining Venus. This can look like some renewal of older agreements you've had with long-term committed love partners, but it also may involve travel and adventures and romantic travel and agreements that you're going to do that with some significant partner, or that you meet somebody that's a lasting partnership because you're traveling. Now, technically, you can do some online dating with Juno in the third house. Dating in the online world in the next 9 months could bring a committed new love story to the singletons looking for love. Don't be afraid of getting online and checking out Tinder or Plenty of Fish or Match.com, whatever's left in the world. I haven't done that for years. Your children belong to the fifth house. You may be making some powerful transformational situations happen. They may be involved in the story agreements with your children connected to travel, things with your children connected to far off foreign shores and lands. Oh, no, sorry. Well, maybe actually, because Mercury is connected and he rules that part of the chart. But things with your kids might be on the menu in the next 9 months. This is the first time Pluto's been here. So we're not talking about everyday things with children. We're talking about big transformative energies as well. Good for entrepreneurs and creatives to get their entrepreneurial and creative stuff into the world, to reach a marketplace, to reach an audience over the next 8 years, but evidence of that in the next 9.5 months. What about the morning star in your 10th house? Well, pride cometh before the Luciferian fall. So be cautious that you don't have a lot of arrogance about your career success so that you come falling down from the sky, cast down, so to speak. But you might need to make some changes. There's a big light up there that wants to have a rebellion. So you might be looking at making some changes in the career, some that are sort of like you're going to rebel against the status quo and do something different. And of course, squaring the seventh house from the 10th can look like quitting a job or ending a legal contractual employment agreement of some sort. That's a possibility for sure. All right, let's keep on going. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. I need a martini. I've just discovered that I get dopamine drops from waking up at 6 o'clock, teaching for 2.5 hours, starting a video and having to redo it again. I have had insights, Scorpio, and I'm only sharing with you because you're my therapist, because you are the still waters that run deep, the strong, silent, investigative, curious, and explorative, stealthy you. Okay, Scorpios. Venus is a reset button every 8 years for a total cycle of change in your work house. Now, work and health, right? Most primarily the work and health stories. If you want to go back to 2001, 2009, 2017, and 2000 and now 25, you're going to change direction, you're going to tack in a different direction with your sailing ship here. And so you are probably going to move into a new career path because the sun rules your career house. And so that indicates for you not just a change of job. No. But a change of livelihood, career, and aspiration path. So I know Scorpio risings. I know lots of you and Scorpio suns, and I know you guys, and I know history of my clients here. And I've seen the change of career path on this 8-year cycle being very common for all of the Scorpios I've known. So go back to 2017 for the last such reset button for comparison, and 2009 and 2001. This is different because Pluto, for the first time in our lives, is now implicitly involved as he is sitting in the fourth house and making a very powerful, reliable, generative, and yummy energy to Venus. Now, at a very boring level, it could look like a new home, a new rental property that's going to transform your life in some way and help you work better and do better in your work and better for your health. So my Scorpio rising sun and his girlfriend want to move. His wife, oh my God, they got married. I think they have a mold problem in their house. I don't know if they really do, but that's an example, right? Better health through a transformation of home. And energetically, also, this could engage you with a transformational encounter with a new pet, where you're going to bring in a very powerful new animal into your home over the next 9 months. And because Jupiter's been traveling your 8th house, and as the start point happens, he is still there. This can be a legacy wealth opportunity. Okay. Something connected to inheritances, father figures, maybe. Venus rules the house of hospitals. So the hospitalization of a father figure may lead in the next 9 months to some legacy wealth from your family of origin, some money from up your family line coming down to you. That could also liberate you and change where you live and bring you a new home as well. And Pluto is transforming the home. Pluto is a big deal here. He'll be here for the next, 20 years. A lot of you will get wealthy in your home from your home, but be able to also get wealthy from family of origin members, as well as maybe move to another country. Now, with Juno, the goddess of agreements and commitments in your 2nd house, oh my God, this smells so good. Yes. Because you have this Juno in your 2nd house, this is a money house, an Artha house, and the 6th house is a work house. 8 out of 10 of you will have a new work agreement, higher level of power, more money, a change of status, and a change of job in the next 10 months from the star point. Look for it. You also can make some agreements to change your dietary style to improve your health as well. And also, yes, like other signs, particularly around vape, weed, nicotine, cocaine, or whatever addictions you have or self-undoings you have that may involve things you ingest. You're making a commitment or a vow or agreement to improve your health by letting something go. And you're also tapping the family line and removing yourself from addictive family systems patterns from addicts and ancestors who are addicts in your life from your family of origin. They're kind of breaking old karmic patterns. With the energy of the Lucifer rebel angel, light bearer, light bringer in your 9th house, you want to rebel or change something, or there might be a light shining brightly that requires your attention in the 9th house. Well, it's the 9th house of Dharma. So moving into alignment with a purpose when your work and career matters are concerned, but also maybe a pivot point that's coming up regarding foreign lands, distant shores, and work. Right, getting a job in another country, being hired by another country, moving to another country because of work, and maybe some pivot points regarding legal matters as well, and work and job, and even debts. This is I forgot to mention, you could definitely have a powerful momentum in the next year around eliminating a financial debt, but you have to do the legal things and make decisions and make sure the judge weighs in on it or the lawyers clear it all for you. And that's what I got for you. Maybe I should just turn the heat on in my house. I got this blankie I'm all tucked under, and this blankie comes from Nepal, and it's made with llama wool, and it's so toasty. Alrighty, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising. It is dreary and rainy in Vancouver. How are you guys doing? I am cold as F. So it is a story here where you can see that Venus is resetting herself in your 5th house. And this is a 5th house of romantic love and pregnancy and fertility and creativity and innocence and wonder and awe and pleasure and fun and play. Entrepreneurial stuff as well, if I didn't say that, and your children and procreativity and all of that. Now, the reset button here on the regular 2001, 2009, 2017, 2025 indicates a new 8-year cycle is emerging, and we're just in the beginning of it. And you'll see evidence until January 26th, the first 9.5 months. You'll get a lot of vibrational yes. You'll understand what it means. You'll get the lay of the land, right? It is a fertility signature with Venus here. So you're fertile with a new book, a new creative project, or a new baby, or your children are baby making, right? All of those are possible. And That said, there are new energies this time, and most particularly Pluto. With Pluto here, Pluto is like, wow, regenerating, transforming, reviving, renewing, caterpillar, butterflying, something about your third house. Your third house is your social media, your online world, your local neighborhood, a sibling one younger. It's things to do with your daily life and the routines of your daily life. Now, you may be redoing those things, and we may be quelling some Poseidon storms in that part of your chart where Poseidon and Pluto sit together. So you can now come to an ease, a flow, less turbulence regarding your writing, your creative output, your marketing and selling, your social media, your online world, your relationship to your neighbors and neighborhood. Also, so many possibilities, right? Travel. Some of you are going to engage in more travel because of this, and more short distance travel over the course of the next 9.5 months, but it could bake in almost like 8 years of more travel, really. It's good for also learning and teaching. And some of you may transform your reality by going to school. Both the fifth house and the third house involve learning. And some of you may be looking at some major redirections around study and learning, especially learning a skill or a trade or something that you want to become good at, but you're naturally good at it. You just want the formal education. And the sun is ruling the house of campuses and universities, co-joining Venus. So again, that's a story that could take place as a directional shift that you're aware of in the next 9 months or so. What about Juno, though? She's in the retrograde. Juno is about agreements, contracts, and vows and marriage. And she's looking retrograde. She's retrograding through the sign of you. You're looking back through the lens of history, the past around commitments, even the one you're in, right? Like, oh, I'm looking back at this like 2-year marriage or 5-year marriage or the one before. And I'm thinking, should I stay or should I go? Because when Juno is involved in the first house, you're looking at the quitting or continuing question mark, right? Should I stay or should I go? And Mercury is the Lord of your seventh house, conjunct Venus. So there's a lot of pivotal energy concerning quitting or continuing in a longer term love story for some of you Sagittariuses. And having the light bearer angel in your eighth house, there may be a need to bring a light to bear or a more visual acuity to the darkness of the eighth, where you're looking at the money you share with a significant other and the resources and the decisions that might need to be made about that regarding a long-term love partner or resources and you and your children or grandchildren and how that should proceed in the 9.5 months that follow. Venus is a ruler of your 11th house. And so friends, allies, and benefactors may come into the mix as well in the next 9.5 months, particularly regarding favors from those people that support you in what may be some difficult times in committed long-term love relationships. If you're a single Sag, you could meet somebody under this sky. Absolutely. New love story emerges from travel, social media land, transformation, because you meet someone in a new neighborhood. And this relationship could be Juno, trine Venus in the romantic house, committed very quickly, come into a commitment very quickly. Now that sounds, I know, contradictory, but if you're already in a long-term love relationship, then this can be more challenging. If it's starting off fresh, it starts off with a desire for commitment, right? But I also want to talk about the retrograde part. You would have met this person before, so it's not brand new. I will say, like, yes, it's new as a relationship, but maybe you crossed paths before, and now this could return to you, retrograde Venus, retrograde Juno, and reconsolidate as a new relationship. But although you know the person already, right? It reconstellates now. That's what I got for you. Oh, don't be careful with your finances. Don't mess in the stock market recklessly. Venus is visible, especially right away. But it's that light bear who fell. Lucifer fell, right, from pride. So be careful with that prideful. Do not be arrogantly prideful regarding 401k, investments in the markets, and money you share with a spouse. Be cautious that your arrogant pride around that doesn't cause a fall. For example, if you're getting a divorce, you think, well, it's all mine anyway, because, whatever legal thing you think is true, be careful, because you may be wrong. And you'll make assumptions. So do not make assumptions regarding shared resources with other people. Double check your status on the royalty income contracts for book publishing, or double check the status of, the agreements legally, should you separate with a spouse, and how much they're entitled to. All right. That's what I'm seeing for you. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. I'm going to sit back on my sofa, get more comfortable. All right. Don't forget to sign up for my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter and win some jewelry and have some fun. This is a sky that says to me something along the lines of you first of all go back and watch the beginning to understand the sky, but historical reference, right? We're going to have to go back in time and connect 2001, 2009, 2017. Of course, it goes back further. Add 7 years, add 9 months, add 9 months. Each of those times, spring of those years, add 9 months, because that's when Venus kept resetting your home. Yes, where you live, property, land, real estate, domicile, private life, domestic life, home life, private life, reset, reset, reset. And the reset button is an 8-year reset, but it's also got a 9.5-month rollout where you know the lay of the land and what's really trying to happen. So some of you may have felt that this was, oh, yeah, I'm trying to change my home again. Now, if you didn't change your home in those old resets, 2017, 2009, 2001, then you changed something fundamental in the home, and particularly love in the home, right? You may have broken up with someone. They may have moved out of your home. You may have redecorated your home. Venus is the god of decorating and designing the home. And there may have been home renos that made it more beautiful. But also there may have been resets about the quality of the love and friendships in the home themselves, including friends and roommates you may have lived with. But a dramatic reset, like, yeah, I'll never live with roommates again, or, the end of my romantic life with my spouse. We're just friends and roommates now. I don't know. Things can change, right? Changes in the status of those with whom you share domicile regarding friendship and love. On a regular cycle, you keep doing this. Now, of course, with the sun ruling your 8th house of mortgages and finances, some of you bought homes and sold homes during this cycle on the regular, indicating that as well. And with Venus ruling your 10th house of career, sometimes your changes of home were actually incited by career changes, right? The career itself changed the home, or the home changed the career. So those two were to be interspersed or interconnected with each other every time this reset button happens on every 8-year cycle. This is Pluto powered for the first time in your life. Pluto in the 2nd house of resources and possessions, values, and money that you earn and possess. So there can be a major, powerful energy coming into your life to possess a new home, or, of course, to have a financial bonus points on the game board, ending financial storms, as Venus loves you up from the 4th house and sends you some ease and flow regarding money. Now, this is the house of the mother, money from mother, or the ancestral line, money up the line. That's possible for some of you. But on the other hand, it could be some financial gain coming to you from something to do with what you're doing in the home. And we're talking about the next 9 months after the star point. Possibly you have, because of Juno, the goddess of marriage and commitment, with Venus in the 4th house, some kind of commitment to a relationship involving distant shores and far off lands that will be addressed in a harmonious way through the voice or conversation. But, it's also Juno in the house of contracts and agreements with far off people in far off shores, including business endeavors there. So some of you may be finding yourself getting involved in a business endeavor in this part of your sky. All right. There may be something like, I'm going to sign a contract for more money with a foreign company or something like that. And you have to go back to all the other cycles, right? Did you do anything similar in all those other cycles? The 4th house and the 12th house are hidden houses, right? Along with the 8th, and the sun rules that. So there could be something going on with a hidden relationship, or hidden love, or love that's not visible, that needs to come emerging into the light. And with Lucifer in the 7th house of committed love and marriage, at odds with the Venus in the 4th house, there may be something going on where there's a concern, like, you're in a kind of transition here, like there's one relationship and another relationship, one's on the back burner or hidden. Juno can bring relationships from the past or past lives back, committed relationships from the past or past lives back into the present over the next 9.5 months. But with a light bearer in the 7th house squaring Venus in the 4th house, you may come to Jesus moment in a particular relationship with a significant other regarding a backburnered past life, past relationship overlay. There's a lot of dark secret energies here for some of you Capricorn. So keep in mind, if you are keeping a secret or some past relationship, you know, out of the light of the marriage, like hidden from it, right? So we're talking about secret stuff. This is a pattern, but not this time. Like, this is not like anything else. You can't compare this because Juno is engaged and Pluto is engaged. And Pluto reveals what was hidden, right? What was under the surface. So there's that vibe here that you or your partner could be revealing stuff if you're in a marriage. If you're single and you're a Capricorn, well, it could bring a new relationship with a foreigner in a foreign land, but because Juno and Venus are both retrograde, there is a significant connection to the past, right? It's already been around the block. Somehow you know each other already, or you've met before in another life, or even met before in real life. And fourth house can mean close to home and homeland, you know, not too far from where you grew up or something like that. For anyone looking for love, look closer to home or even close to where you live now. Yeah, I would go with that. Otherwise, good job opportunities in distant shores and lands could be breaking through. And if that happens, you get more money, you'll be rich, you'll help quell your financial woes. You might even be finding a beautiful new beginning in a new home over the next 9.5 months, connected to the star point and connected to work and contracts and agreements with business opportunities and work opportunities from distant shores and far off places. But there is a big square from the marriage house. So maybe your wife or husband doesn't want to move if you have a job opportunity abroad, and it could be very difficult, if not fractious, on a long-term committed love story. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. Someone said in my comments that I give Capricorn short shrift. I doubt it. Check my timestamps. I have like 4 Capricorns in my life or so. Like, I can think off the bat of who they are. And believe me, when I know people, I always go long. So no, I don't give Capricorns short shrift, nor do I think I do it to Leos. Maybe Leos more so, because it depends on how much stuff is going on in the sky relative to your sign. But people, take a chill pill. All right, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. I am one of you. I'm a rising. So yes, 2001, 2009, 2017, and this year, we have a repeat cycle of Venus coming into the heart of the sun in the sign of Aries, which is our 3rd house. And of course, is our local neighborhood. So I often get moved because of it. Plus my moon is there. But, you know, our neighbors, our neighborhood, our writing projects, our social media land, it's a house of scrying and divining. It's a house of marketing and selling. It's a house of the everyday life we lead and the places we go and the people we see in our local environs as well. It's a house of the goddess. It connects us to divine feminine synchronicity, spirituality, and sort of the everyday goddess. Now, this is a reset button. Here we go. New beginnings. New beginnings. New neighborhoods, new writing projects, new marketing, new website, new online social media stuff, new beginnings. Venus rules the house of book publishing. Write a book, new beginnings. The 2017 star point. By 2019, I channeled 2 books, Coming Age of Miracles, The Way of Miracles. Never published them, but they are available. One of them as a PDF download. So yes, it could birth a book, could birth a writing project. It can birth a new relationship to your sibling one younger. It can birth like a new way of interacting with them. And it could also indicate that the sibling one younger than you, should you have one, is also having a new beginning in their life and a rebirth of something. Like my sister, who's one younger than me, Nancy, my time stamping sister, she rebirthed by quitting her nursing job after the 2017 star point, 30 years hospital nurse, right? Quit, left, retired early. Right. So that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. So Nancy, if you're listening, it's your rebirthing, right? My sister went younger, my time stamper. What new life path are you taking, Nancy? Things to do here with the 3rd house can also involve your desire for learning something. And if you want to study something, it will be a skills-based learning. You'll want to learn something you can tackle and use, not something hypothetical and lofty, something practical. How to change a tire, how to sell real estate. I can use me as an example. In 2017, I took an astrology course. And in 2018, I signed up for Adam Ellenboss's course in Hellenistic astrology, all in the wake of the Venus star point. So there was a new learning of the old tradition of astrology, and that's why I'm here with you today. So all of us Aquariuses may engage in a new study or a new path of teaching. And finally, travel. This is going to make you want to travel or change your neighborhood. But this is usually short distance travel. The complication will be that Venus rules your house of far off lands and pilgrimages. So it can be both kinds of travel. Now, what about Pluto? You are Pluto. We are power. We are Darth Vader. We are mafia boss. We've got like every gravitas we could possibly have in our beingness. So we are not suffering the fools of the world gladly, but we're also really weighted with this transformational energy and this regenerative energy. And so we have that strength. And there's some Poseidon storms. We're trying to get used to this new energy in our sign. And now we end up looking over at Venus and Poseidon, and it's a flow. And Venus says, no worries, chill. You're fine. You're fine. We got this. You can carry the weight of the power of Pluto. You're okay with it. But channel it, she says, through writing, communicating, traveling, and teaching, neighbors and neighborhood, divining and scrying. These are things to do in the third house, and media and social media. Juno is in our 11th house. Juno says contracts and agreements, vows and agreements. In the house of career gains, in the house of friends and allies and benefactors, in the house of a sibling one older. I'm trying to convince my sibling one older that doesn't exist to be my best friend, but I don't have one. So my friends who are like big bros and sisters are wanting to Juno up with me, which would be to make agreements, contracts, and vows, perhaps to support writing, communicating, teaching, things that are going on in the third house. You may forge some new agreements regarding what you want to have as a long-range goal and dream. This will be within yourself, right? Pluto says, what powerful, real vows and agreements do we want to make to our long-term goals and directions in life? That also pleases Venus in the third house. With the light bearer, the angel of rebellion, pride, beauty, and light who fell, was cast out of heaven because he was arrogant. Where can we be cast out of heaven and fall? In our work, in our health, in our rental situations, and our pet situations. As this light bearer is squaring Venus. Now, the light bearer is squaring Venus from the 6th house of karmic relationship debts. And now, when I say debts, you can have a real debt. So don't be careful. Pride cometh before the fall. Venus is money. So don't ignore a debt. But these are debts connected to the third house, like your automobile loan or something. But just know that you should be paying attention to the power of debts and what you want to do with those debts in the next 9.5 months. The real debts you hold financially, maybe a debt to a sibling, maybe a debt for a car loan or something to do with the local environment. But karmic relationships are there and the debts we service are there. So you may be looking at a kind of a pride becometh before a fall, or a light being shone brightly into the house of relationships that are karmic debt relationships. And karmic debt relationships have to be serviced or paid down or paid off, right? Like with a square to Venus from Juno, there may be an end of a karmic debt relationship in your life. And that can be a karmic debt friendship, a karmic debt long-term love relationship, a karmic debt of any kind, a sort of fracturing, breaking, decision-making, action-taking substance here. Now, this is true for 9.5 months, right? Although it's beginning to activate on the star point of March the 22nd. My throat is sore from talking today. Has anyone here ever talked for like 6 hours nonstop? All right. Probably 4.5 hours. Let's move on to the Pisces sun, moon, and rising folk. Pisces sun, moon, and rising. Venus in your 2nd house of money, possessions, food style, what you put in your mouth, values, earnings and possessions, and financial wellness. is going to reset your button. She did it back in 2017, 2009, 2001. And each of those springs, March of those years, she gave you a 9-month rollout until about January of the following year and said, this is the new direction for your finances. Let's do this. Or your values, or your facial appearance, or your dietary style, or your habits, things that go in the face and nose and mouth. And there's a reset button, a new start. And Venus, when she restarts that part of your chart, she also is the Lord of the house of shared resources and unearned income. And so that part of your chart also gets a sort of collateral energetic as well. When she resets this part of your chart this time around, she's in a flow to Juno in the house of your work, like the boss, the job, the career space. And that means that houses 10 and 2 are Artha houses, which connect to work, resources, and material prosperity. And this time, unlike the other times, because of Juno, you could be in a new job opportunity connected to new agreements, new contracts, new business contracts, new employment contracts, new business partnership agreements in order for financial thrival over the next 9.5 months and 8 years. So look for evidence of that. You could definitely get really great juice in the next 9 months for some new job and career direction that looks quite prosperous. And because of Pluto in the 12th house, it could involve an international company. It could involve making money from an international marketplace or a far off distant shore, like, other side of your country, but money that's coming from those sources, Pluto, wealth, and quelling some storms as well. If you've been struggling with any kind of you're your own worst enemy, whether it's addictions or anything else, the storms of that are ebbing because Pluto is transformation, going deep and rebirthing yourself with the storms of Poseidon closing out here in the 12th house of self-undoing. Relative to dietary style, most likely with Venus star pointing in your 2nd house. And with the sun, of course, ruling your 6th house, this is definitely waking up new work and new career and new employment opportunities, but also new health directions as well. With Venus and the sun and Mercury in your 2nd house, this is a really great combination for commercial success of some sort, financial success of some sort. So really knowing that this is a kind of a money-like trio in a money house, because Mercury's so close. This is going to be like, apply for the job, for goodness sakes. Take a chance. Check your LinkedIn. Update your resume if you're looking for work, because you will be successful in the next 9 months. Now, Mercury rules your 7th house of marriage, and Venus rules your house of shared marital resources. And for a few of you, this is money coming from a separation or divorce. And that's okay. The sky's saying yes. The marriage goddess in the top of the sky in the house of public reputation could indicate the same thing as well. The 10th house is the house of decimations, right? So the decimation of the marriage. Now, be careful for romantic love relationships, whether new or old, right? And by the way, if there's a decimation of a marriage, it's been long in the making, right? Juno retrograde, this has been pondered before Venus retrograde. Separating your finances in a long-term love relationship, big thing for many of you Pisces. Now, Lucifer, the light bearer, the angel, he was cast down, he was prideful, but he was a rebel, is in your 5th house, squaring the money house of the 2nd. Possibly some disagreements with your children around finances that can cause a fall in the relationship with a child, adult child, young child, I don't know. Possibly some conflicts regarding romantic love and sexual love, and connected to hidden and invisible relationships. So if you have a secret love affair, then it's in contrast to your long-term marriage gig. This is where maybe some shit hits the fan. So excuse my language. Someone said, don't say the word shit in my comments. Shit. I'll say it. Okay. I believe I can't say it in the first 30 seconds to 60 seconds of a YouTube video. After that, I can say the word. Okay. Are you that much of a prune that it bothers you? Because believe me, I swear like a frigging, I swear like I don't know what. I'm a big swearer. Okay, I got Mars in my second house of speech. So get over it, please. And I just have to say sometimes really what people say, please don't say shit on your channel. This makes me want to say merde, 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 tabernac. Oh God. I'm a little bit punchy on you guys. Sorry about that. It's been too long a day, too much work, too much talking. If you have anything going on under the covers of, a hidden love story, and I say that because Venus rules a house of hidden love stories, it's going to come out into the open, and this is going to be chaotic energy. So be careful. Yeah, that's your fall here. This is possible in the next 9 months that your hidden lover story again, and you got a spouse, is going down a really bad direction. If you don't have a hidden lover, be careful for new loving romantic relationships, bright shining objects that fall from the sky in the house of sexual romantic partners. If I was a Pisces and I'm single, I wouldn't be looking for love in all the right places. It isn't this chart, not in the next 9.5 months. Okay. Just do the work thing, divorce and separate if you need to. Try to keep your hidden lover story, romantic side hustle off the map, your Mr. and Mistress stories from your marriage, but likely it'll come out in the open under the sky. So be cautious. But if it's meant to blast through to the open air, it's meant to blast through to the open air. All right. I hope I didn't give you guys too little time if you're a Pisces, but I am literally unable to speak. I'm going to go outside, take a nice long walk to the wine store. The wine lover's middle way is not coming to me yet. It's still the middle way, like a glass of wine at night. But I mean, it's not the middle way that I'm like drinking, once every 3 weeks. So, oh, guys, when I write the book, The Wine Lover's Middle Way, and the podcast with organic wines and biodynamic wines and a very Zen attitude, I'll let you know. That would be so much fun. That's something I'm looking forward to creating at some point in my life. But who can teach the wine lover's middle way if they haven't quite figured it out themselves, right? I got this little pendant at a market. It's got last summer, and it's got a little moon, right? I'm the moon lunatic. The moon surrounded by fake gold, and I just thought I'd put it on today. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, join my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. I'm doing a contest giveaway that you'll have to have the code for, and it will be on a live giveaway though on Thursday's video on the Aries ingress chart, which is casting a chart for the world and for each of us that lasts a year long. So I can't wait to talk about that. It is literally stamping in the most important stories for your sign and my sign in the next year. So that's coming out on Thursday, and I'm finishing this up at 4:40 p.m. on Saturday, March the 15th. Ciao.